The king is dead, I understand. The king is dead, I understand. The king is dead. God save Mr. Moxie. Sources seated deep inside the decision-making rooms around the Bahamas have reported to me interesting news. That after 5 years, it is now being alleged, or reported, however you want to do it, right? So you could say that I have alleged, but it has been reported to me so that I could allege that the tenure of the commander of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force is beginning to sail towards its sunset. And I think that that is something that I wanted to come right out of the gate and say, that brings me absolutely no joy. Many of you know that he was not among my first choice. He was certainly not the person that I picked right out front. Everybody knows that I've written it, that originally I thought that Glenn McPhee ought to have been the man, right? I thought the team should have been Glenn McPhee, Billy Stirrup, Big Bad Billy, and one Samantha Hart. I've said it, I would say it from Mount Olympus. That is who I thought the team should have been then. Notwithstanding my belief of that, he was appointed commander of the Defense Force, and a yeoman's job, in my estimation, was done by now Commodore Raymond King, who at the time was Captain Raymond King. He was called in to sweep up the mess that was Tellus Bethel, who was removed from office, in my view, with very little dignity, and quite honestly so, deservedly so, if you ask me, because when you play foolish games, you collect foolish prizes. And Tellus just went on and on and on with foolishness, like playing dress up and all kind of other foolishness that internationally was embarrassing. But Raymond King came and saved the day and put some integrity and honor and some dignity back into the chair of Commander Defense Force. You know that we have not seen the Defense Force handed over in the last two incarnations by an actual commander of the Defense Force. Fellas in a turquoise necktie hand over the force the last time. And before that, a man in a blue suit. Oh, but praise the Lord, I believe that help and hope is on the way. And in the next few weeks, months, who knows, we shall see the sun set on the time that is the era of Raymond King, Dr. Raymond King. And the sun shall rise on the tenure of the man we will from that day forward know as the commander of the Defense Force. The man that commands His Majesty's men. I'll tell you his name on the next side of the break. This is going to be fun. Dr. King, your record is firm. Not a single Haitian boat in 5 years. We'll be back. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. Leaving Millers here. We're on 103.5 FM, The Beat. We're on channel 224, that's on cable. Channel 112, that's on Flow. And we're on ILTV Studios, right on Facebook. I'm joined in studio as well by the guy that continues to try to keep me safe on these breaks. He is the spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll. Bradley Roll, hello.
Welcome to Freedom March.
Welcome to Freedom March.
Indeed.
How have things been on the outside for you this Wednesday?
I don't know what happened to me, but I was extremely tired today.
Wow.
As you can see on my face.
Jumping jacks.
Oh, man, yeah.
Jumping jacks. When I was in the military, spiritual advisor, they always told us, jumping jacks will fix anything.
Really?
Yeah, no matter how horrible the thing is that you are going through. Jumping jacks is so much more horrible that by the time as we've gotten you to do at least 200 to 300 of these, you will pray to have whatever that thing was you were having a few minutes ago. So we'll get you through about 150 of these jumping jacks, and then you'll tell me whether or not
I should wake up in it, eh?
Yeah. You'll tell me whether or not it was still as bad
absolutely.
as you think it really is. We've got some Holy Scripture today.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what Holy Scripture has to say to us today from the Holy Scripture read by the mouth of the spiritual advisor.
Well, coming from the Word of God is first and foremost. But listen, remember when we were growing up, people used to tell us about, Jesus coming soon, Jesus coming soon. Mm-hmm. I'm 59, and he hasn't arrived as yet.
Maybe he took the long way.
And so you grow up hearing these things, you accept it by faith, and, we know that one day faith holds true, it will happen.
Praise the Lord.
And of course, the younger generation, they're almost like scoffers now, because I guess they think they're so wise and they know it all. And so they say, man, listen, y'all been telling us from 10 years that Jesus come and say, he ain't reached yet. So anyhow, you let me know when he come, eh? As a matter of fact, I don't know if y'all remember, there's a young lady who just be around certain areas with this sign around her neck. She's be dressed in blue. I think she's wear like a little red something.
Yes, the one that says Jesus is coming soon.
Yeah.
I tell them I hope Jesus come for her voice, because she have to be tired spiritually.
She's very consistent.
Yeah,
she?
It's been. I used to drive
bus
for
years.
I used to drive bus in 2014, and in 2014 she was wearing that sign. So if not for anybody else's sake, I hope Jesus come for her voice, so that at least she could take a little break.
Been consistent.
She's been at it for a while.
Yeah, she's been consistent.
Yeah.
And so the young people are now scoffing at that. But listen, I got a message for you young people who believe you're all so smart and know everything. Mm-hmm. And here's this message by one of the apostles of Jesus Christ, Peter. Here's what Peter says in 2 Peter 3:3-9. Above all, you must understand that in the last days scoffers will come, scoffing and following their own evil desires. And they will say, when is this coming he promised? Ever since our ancestors died, everything goes on as it has been since the beginning of creation. But they deliberately forget that long ago by God's word, the heavens came into being and the earth was formed out of water and by water. Flip me, producer. By these waters also the world of that time was deluged and destroyed. And by the same word, the present heavens and earth are reserved for fire, being kept for the day of judgment and destruction of the ungodly. But do not forget this one thing, dear friends. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. Don't forget that. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he's patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. 2 Peter 3:3-9. Never mind, it's been a while. God is just patient.
Wow.
He's waiting on you to change before you die, so that you receive the reward of eternal life. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he's patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. We read from 2 Peter 3, verses 3-9. I read from the New International Version, just for clarity.
Wow.
The word is ever, never blessed. Amen.
Indeed. Well, spiritual advisor, as you've heard me announce at the opening of the show, it is my understanding from sources sat as deeply as sources can sit. It was a fly on the wall in a room with no light that told me that according to the vibration of the AC vents, it should be reported to me so that I may allege.
Okay, you're a legend.
Right.
Now let me see if I get the facts.
That the end of the king era, it is nigh, it is upon us. And that a new commander is arising or emerging from the ashes.
Really?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Raymond King.
Dr.
Raymond King.
Dr. Raymond King.
He is now at the helm of the Royal Mounted
He indeed is.
Defense Force. He's the commander.
Indeed, he is the commander.
What's his correct title now? Is he Commodore or is he Commander?
He is. So you have to understand, you know, like how you have Queen Elizabeth, right? Queen of the Commonwealth. So Queen Elizabeth is her name, or Queen is her title. Queen of the Commonwealth is her function. So he is Commodore Raymond King, Commander
Of the Royal
of the Defense Force.
Okay.
Yes. So while there is a rank in the force called Commander, that is not his rank. He is a Commodore, which means he commands commanders to command. You see how that works?
Okay.
So he commands them
So he's the commander
of
all commanders.
Indeed.
Okay.
Like how, and not like how Tellus Battle was the captain of all captains. That was a different thing. Because you remember Tellus Battle was playing dressed up like a half a commander of the Defense Force. Remember that?
Tell us about. Well, I haven't followed much of
Don't worry, I was following. I can tell you.
There's only one Defense Force Commodore that I.
Who is that? Clifford Scavella?
Scavella.
That is the one everybody followed.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
That's
I
my
believe
boy.
that if Clifford
That's my
Scavella came
boy.
back today to be the commander of the Defense Force, I believe the Bahamian people just think we should bestow the title of Commander of the Defense Force Emeritus on Cliff Scavella
Yes,
and
Scavella.
just like
I follow them.
make him the umbrella commander of the Defense Force, that all commanders of the Defense Force kind of just go and sit down and talk to him. I don't know. I don't know how useful he is among the command's decisions these days. But I remember the first day that he came to office. I will never forget. He said, "Come go with me, down the new road, where there will be operations, because that is what we are about." And so now I wonder what is going to be, not the mandate of the force, because that will never change. The mandate of the force is the protection of the territorial sovereignty of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That is the mandate of the force. What I am wondering now is, based on the vibrations I hear coming from the AC vent, from the fly on the wall in the room with no light bulb, that has reported this news to me, that I may allege it, is what will be the mantra of the force now? And that is the thing that I'm interested in knowing. But what I know is that the king is dead. The king is dead. God save the new commander of the defense.
Let's see if your source is credible.
Spiritual advisor, have O ye of little faith.
Because I have someone that's really.
Spiritual advisor, O ye of little faith.
Unless I see.
Look at my hand. Spiritual advisor, look at my hand.
Unless I see.
Know ye not that I am leaving Miller?
Unless
And if
I
I
hear.
say yea, then my yea be yea. But if I say nay, then my nay be nay.
We want to hear it
Oh boy.
from the horse's mouth.
Oh boy. Okay, so let me tell you what else is going on in the Defense Force today, right? I understand that one Brittany Harris is out and about screaming in these bunch of voice notes, asking the question, where the money? That's what I want to know, where the money? And it's so funny to me, right? Because this is what I like about living a scandal-free life. I could call your name, and if you call by back, I care, right? I think there are some people walking around here that want to ask Brittany Harris the same question. Where the money, Brittany? Or we only look for Satan's side of money? Spiritual advisor? You don't know about that one either.
Give me a second. I'm trying to confirm your
You're
story.
trying to confirm?
I'm allowing you to go.
You could just, okay, let me say.
See now, somebody told me a joke one time, but something that happens as serious as this, right? So listen, we need to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Okay.
Because other than that, right now we're hearing it from the other end.
But I want to tell you, spiritual advisor.
Oh, gee.
My sources don't miss. My sources don't miss. My sources have also confirmed for me that there's no such thing being considered as an Ellison Green Slade nomination. So, Michael Pintard, you can breathe easy. That's not happening. My sources don't miss. But I want to say...
Is it true?
But I want to say, before we go on to the news that's happening in the Defense Force, and while Brittany Harris going to try to find the other money, because she's very good at asking for money, boy. I have a question. Brittany, which this the camera here, where the other money? You can find that? Okay. So, my understanding is this is how it works, spiritual advisor. The UN say, we need man to go to war, right? The Bahamas government say, boy, we got 6. The UN say, okay. Then the Bahamas government write them back and say, boy, we thought it was 6 man. These fellas so good at ducking down, we can't find 6 man. We got 5 man and a woman. So then the UN say, man, woman, all we looking for is bodies. She could hold a gun? They say yes. They say no problem, send her. She now leaves as the first female in the history of the force to ever have deployed. Internationally, that is, right? So they go away. They're supposed to go for 4 months. Well, this is the Defense Force. And for as long as I've known the organization, they never tell nobody they was going away for the time that they was going for and they actually come back in the time. How can I verify this? Do you remember Francis and Jane?
Yeah, just 2 hurricanes.
Okay. You remember when they break up Nassau? I mean, Grand Bahama? Okay.
We got some damage too.
Yeah. There was a man by the name of Edon Green, Master at Arms. Right? Fleet Chief. The first fleet chief in the history of the force. Got up on the parade ground that Monday morning and say, men, Grand Bahama is in shambles. We need about 24 men to go and spend a fortnight in Grand Bahama. Spiritual advisor, they was there the 4th night.
5th
the
night.
5th night.
6th night. And the 7th night.
6th night. The point I'm making is Grand Bahama at that time, if you remember, was in absolute chaos. So much so that our soldiers had to sleep.
You're correct, apparently.
I don't miss.
Yeah.
I don't miss.
Okay.
The king is dead.
So what happened? You don't like?
No, Raymond King is one of my favorite people.
Okay.
And has enjoyed my support the entire time, even when I wasn't sure I enjoyed his.
So how long is this contract for?
I understand it was, well, you could do the math on it. He come in 2001, and he's leaving in 2005.
2001?
Yeah, you remember when Tellis Battle was tripping down all over himself and couldn't get the fellas them sorted out?
2001 to 2025 was 24 years.
2019. When was the storm? 19?
Francis and Jane?
No, Dorian.
Dorian was in
19, because Dorian was before the pandemic.
And yeah.
So he come to rescue Tellis because Tellis couldn't stop falling down all over himself after Dorian, right? Remember, this was after the government finally appointed him as Commodore. This was after the first 3 years of him playing dress up as Commodore.
So he was appointed on the F&M then?
Yes. Right? And Tellis is doing such a horrible job down there in Abaco that they tell Tellis, man, please come out of here. You remember? So much so, they chased Tellis so fast, they chased him with a uniform. By the time I see the turn over the force, he was wearing a turquoise necktie.
Yeah, Tellis better.
Yeah. That must see how fast they chase him. They skate him so fast, all the uniform come off. And he had to turn over the force in the turquoise necktie. Then Raymond King came as Captain King, right? He had a rapid ascension to commander of the Defense Force as Commodore King. That would have been about 2000. So he's had about a 6-year contract.
2000?
Yeah, about 6 years. So from about 2019 to now.
You mean 2025, from 2019 to 2025?
Yeah, that's 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years, okay.
Yeah, and for what it is worth, he has had greater success than 4 Commodores prior to him. The Haitian them inland a single boat, not a piece of Haitian seaweed land on any reasonably valuable piece of Bahamas land under the 10-year Commodore King. They can operate.
So why do you think that happened?
I can tell you why. Let me tell you what he would say. Mm-hmm. It is because we have focused on maritime domain awareness. We have focused on maritime domain dominance. And we have focused on maritime domain control. That, along with our multilateral partnerships, have dropped a canvas across the Windward Passage, leaving no chance that the migrants could get into the Bahamian waters and subsequently making landfall in places like Nassau or Abaco. He has been demonstrably better than at least 3 Bahamian Commodores.
Okay.
And that is with almost the same amount of assets. Of course, he has a larger
fleet, right?
Human capital than I think any other Commodore ever has had. But he also has an aging force. Because, you know, these fellas will go till they 60. Wayne, you can't reverse that fast, please. Eh? I don't understand the purpose of fellas wanting to be in the military till they 60. I can't get that. Right? Mm-hmm. Notwithstanding, Wayne Monroe say he agreed with Marvin Dames and the fellas should go to 60. I know why. I've been on there for 11 years. And after 11 years, I was so out of breath, I was ready to leave. These fellas, I mean, they got 33, 40, they don't go nowhere. And I hear they got, if you go with a candy cane, grab marks on the stick, they gotta call one of these crane company to take some of these fellas out of there.
That's how old they are, yeah?
After 47. No, they got the candy cane hug up. When the fellas say, boy, you know tomorrow is your last day, they grab the cane and hug it. The crane truck can't get them off the gate. And that is embarrassing, man. Just go home. But that's not what we're talking about.
So who's next?
I can tell you that a little later. You gotta give my sources chance to work, spiritual.
Who's next?
What we know is that the king is dead. But the king has had, in my view, tremendous successes. He's launched the Maritime Institute down there, which I think is a phenomenal thing, and it's going to take the force in a wonderful direction. He's been able to promote one whole entire entry woman to the highest rank in the force, rating that is. And I think that ought to be commended. We're going to talk a little bit about Haiti when I get back. Brittany Harris, where the other money, man? That's what I want to know. I don't care about the UN on. Where the other people money? We'll talk about that a little bit more on the next side of the break as well when we get back. The king is dead! God save the new commander. We'll be back.
This segment of Freedom March is brought to you by Modernistic Garden and Pet Supply. For top quality dog food, shop online at modernisticgarden.com or visit our Palmdale, Carmichael, and Mullet Marathon locations today.
Any one of the social media platforms, right? That's iConnect_studios. Tell Ali I said hello when you get down there. If you want to look like me, go and see Ali, right? Spiritual advisor, we got an app?
Yes, are your dogs hungry and tired of low-quality food? Give them the best at Modernistic. We carry all the top brands, Taste of the Wild, Diamond Naturals, Victor, Anukshuk, at the lowest prices in town. So if you're on a budget, we've got 50-pound bags starting at just $49. And for a limited time, buy any large bag of dog food and get a coupon, $10 coupon redeemable on select dog toys and treats. If you can't make it, then shop online at www.modernisticgarden.com and we'll deliver right to your door. Your pet deserves quality, your wallet deserves savings. Shop in store or shop online today. Hurry, offer won't last. Thank you, producer.
Thank you very much, spiritual advisor. So let's go back to this. So the people were deployed to Haiti. The UN say, boy, we want them to go for 4 months. But everybody know, you never just listen to that. When they send me to Bimini, right? Me and my team of strong running Marine seamen. They tell us they wanted us to go for 4 months. I come back from Bimini 7 months later. I was almost married. I've been on there so long. Good thing I was a decent fella who, wasn't into that kind of stuff. That's how long I was there. When they sent me into Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, the Americans tell me I was getting on there for 4 months. I never come back till a month and a half after that. And I had to actually pay for my own rental car to drive myself to St. Louis to get on a flight. Luckily, I was traveling on U.S. orders, so once I give the U.S. airline people my paperwork, everything was smooth from there. But it is not abnormal. It is not abnormal to be sent on a detachment or a deployment and to not return on time. It is also not abnormal.
Does it make it right, though?
I'm not saying it is, whether it is right or wrong, we will debate that at another time. We are talking about what in the name of God and all things holy is all of this kvetching about people rolling over on the ground like someone throwing hot water on them. Are these not Marines, yes or no?
Yeah, but do they still want to be there?
And how come all these bunch of officers complaining? Let me tell you what else happened that came out of Haiti today. Today, there was a letter of commendation, and I want to read this, sent to an old soldier, Force Chief Petty Officer Perry Colebrook, an all-time soldier. His third deployment into Haiti, right? The third time. The last time he been, I think, was 1996. He's back again, this time as a Force Chief Petty Officer. And he was sent a letter of commendation while in Haiti, and the commendation letter says this. Force Chief Petty Officer Perry Angelo Colebrook, a 37-year veteran of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, at 55 years old, is currently serving as a contingent regimental sergeant major for the CARICOM Joint Task Force in Haiti and the assistant conduct and discipline officer for the Conduct and Discipline Directorate of the Multinational Security Support Mission to the Republic of Haiti. Force Chief Petty Officer Colebrook, during preparatory mission training in the Bahamas, Jamaica, and on subsequent deployment to Haiti, has consistently displayed an exemplary work ethic and personal stature that garners admiration from both his superiors and subordinates alike, demonstrating a remarkable and fervent dedication. Leveraging his wealth of experience, he not only excels in his own responsibilities, but also actively contributes to the growth and development of his subordinates and the critical maintenance of discipline in a multinational and highly dynamic threat environment. Force Chief Petty Officer Colebrook has drawn on his previous experiences of deploying to Haiti in 1995 as a part of the CARICOM and United Nations peacekeeping mission to provide deft leadership, advice, and mentoring. He employs keen foresight in every endeavor, and his professionalism has transcended associated cultural complexities. Man, that sounds fantastic. His performance has consistently surpassed expectations, reflecting great credit upon himself, the MSS, the CJTF, and the RBDF, and by extension, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And this, of course, was sent by K.W. Henry, the Colonel of the Jamaican Defense Force, Deputy Force Commander of the MSS, Commander of the CJTF. And all I'm saying is, Perry old. Perry is an old soldier with bad knees. And if Perry old self could be in Haiti with bad knees and then been to Haiti before, and he over there gaining accolades, and he is actually an enlisted person, then what all this hollering about? And the rest of the fellas who go on as officers? What is all this hollering and kicking and screaming and the people dying and what is all of this about? I just can't understand it, spiritual advisor. And so what I do think is happening that is abnormal is that members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force have not ever had this many persons who have been called to the bar somewhere, maybe Kaikis, agitate on their behalf in the kangaroo court of public opinion. And so everything looks wrong to them. Because you know we live in this new mamby-pamby society where everybody needs a hug and everybody's offended by everything all the time and everything is just insensitive. But these are soldiers we're talking about. Are we not?
Yep.
These are trained men and women.
Yeah.
Are they not? So what the hollering and kicking and screaming about? You go, you take your abuse. When you come back from taking your abuse, they give you one of them little medal to put on your chest. And that way, when you stand up amongst the other fellas with no medal on their chest, you puff your chest up. So they could see.
Get a medal of honor.
I know how to take abuse. That's what the medal mean. The medal mean, you see this here? You can't beat me taking abuse. And when they give you one of them purple one, that mean the abuse almost kill us. But I ain't dead, so see my purple one here. That's what the medal them for. So what the fetching and hollering and rolling over on the ground half naked and screaming, what that about? The money, Lawrence Rowland tell you about the money. What prophet say about the money?
The money gone.
The money coming.
Oh, coming in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's the prophet say? Money coming.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
I
So
thought
you don't have to
you were
guess.
the FTX one.
No, that money gone. But the money coming. And besides, wouldn't you prefer to have that money when you reach to Nassau? You can add on to your house.
What money are you talking about? Because
The UN money.
Okay. But
The UN will advance the money at the end of the operation. Because what if you dead? We won't have something to give to your wife. Because, you know, people don't really like their wife, so if we got to wait till they dead to get their wife some money sometimes. Right?
All right,
Other than that, so our fans might get all.
So there's been no exchange from the UN to the Bahamas government.
I say that I never said that. The UN might have already sent the money.
Okay.
But that's not how government accounts work. And God help you if you got one financial officer like some of them I know.
Okay.
You mightn't see that money till next year, June.
All right, let me see if it.
Not because it ain't there, but because they don't. Financial officers don't like to spend money. And that is the whole public service over. So if you send it to a financial officer, she probably know exactly where the money is, or he. And you're not gonna get that. But it will be right there. All you have to do is don't dare. Don't dare, and when you get back, we'll talk to the FO and we'll say, FO, please, this us. We've been to Haiti. They almost kill us. Can we please have the money? And eventually you'll get the money.
So when you deploy, do you get a special increment?
Hardship allowance.
Right. So these folks.
They've been paid that.
So they're getting their full salary.
They get salary.
Inclusive of a 25% above the deployment usually.
Well, I don't care what the hardship allowance is. It's hardship allowance. Because when I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, they paid me a hardship allowance. I was living in a condominium on a high rise with a lake in the back. I couldn't figure out what was hardship about that, but they paid me the allowance.
Okay, so they also received the difference.
I also had to walk to school every day in the blistering rain and change 2 boots because the rain keep bursting my boots. But I was being paid hardship allowance.
So what does it mean when it says they will also receive the difference between what the UN pays if it is more than
So let's just
they
say,
have received?
the UN say, for each man, we'll pay you $10,000. And while Bradley Roll was down there, I don't know, Bradley Roll have a bad liver. He only could eat certified dare meat. So we had to go and spend some money on certified dare meat that we catch out of the wild for Bradley, which was in the cost that the government calculated. When Bradley returned, we said, now Bradley, this is the money the UN sent for you. But boy, you remember all that certified dare meat you eat? The government had to expend money on that because we didn't know you was going to need that. So what to do? Let's take that out the bill and see the rest of the money here.
Wow.
What's the wow for?
Okay, now, alleged rape. What's going on?
Now, let me say this. I want to detest, decry, condemn, not condone on every occasion, every instance where rape occurs. Unless it's marital rape, because y'all don't allow marital bank robbery, so I don't see how it could be marital rape. But on every other occasion, I detest and decry rape. And all I'm saying is that all prosecution begins at the point of a complaint. Isn't that what the law says?
Okay. Yeah.
Was a complaint made? If a complaint was made, then the first step in the legal process has begun. And the way the law works is it snowballs. So that's step 1. There should be a step 2. There should be a step 3 and 4, etc., etc., etc. So, if a complaint was made, then I say to the minister, let's follow the complaint. But what cannot happen is you holler, oh, they raped me, and then not make a complaint. Because all prosecution starts at the point
Of complaint.
of a complaint. So if she complains, and I know the one female down there very well, listen to me, she's high speed, low drag. I ain't take nobody brushing up on her, pian, fellas. She big, bad, and
So
biggity.
how many females down there?
One.
Just one?
One. They must even give her 2 medals. They can say, here's one for going, and here's another one for going as a woman. But she ain't no little run of the mill. So I'm not saying she is incapable of being raped. I'm saying I know her to be a soldier.
She can fight back.
Man, with everything in her. As a matter of fact, there wouldn't have been a rape, there would have been a murder. So all I'm saying is if the woman that is down there, the one that I know, is the woman that they are alleging has had this assault, I know her to be big and biggity. So I hope she break whatever part he was trying to do. I hope she break it off.
Yeah, but men stronger than women, though.
But you don't know this woman. She big and she biggity.
Okay.
She built like a Bronco truck. If she hits you, there's no coming back from that.
You hit the ground.
I could guarantee that's a 2-hit fight. She hit you, you hit
the
ground.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So if there is a rape or an assault, my advice in that instance is that all prosecution begins at the point of a complaint. You cannot say that you have not gotten justice if you have not applied the formula for justice. That's my only advice. But what I tell you is get the medal them for abuse.
Abuse. Well,
So you get to say, boy,
it's
you
not
see
really
this medal?
abuse. It's enduring hardship, basically.
Abuse have an A in it. You could say, boy, you see this medal here? I remember that one time, boy, that thing almost killed me. But that's why I get this. That's what it's for. When they give you the little Adquil, because you got a medal, that's what it's for. You follow me?
So they should take it until such time.
I saying that abuse is the only thing the military have to offer. That's why I don't understand why Negroes go into 60. The only thing in the military is truckloads of abuse, nothing else. You can imagine you go to work today. The fellas say, hey Bradley, you see that hill there? Yeah, boss. Yeah, let's run up to the top of the hill. You run up to the top of the hill. As soon as you reach, you know what you can say?
Come back down.
Way to go, Bradley. That's why you get paid the big bucks. You know what I want you to do next, Bradley? What you need me to do, Chief? Run back down to the bottom of that hill.
And then run back up.
That's why old people ain't belong there.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
So I don't hear nothing else from BDF Marines complaining about being in Haiti. Not because I think you're having a good time, but because I feel like if you want to have a good time to wait, go wait for Muckamucks. That's simple. Or sell ice cream. or baby clothes. I don't know what you do. Just don't be on BDF. That's simple. But the money, what prophet say? What prophet say about the money?
It coming?
The money coming. And don't let Brittany Harris run y'all up on breaks because she can't find the other money. All right? And y'all deployed, and deploying is a part of the job. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So I want you all to stop letting you put Perry Colebrook back up so I can celebrate. Perry Colebrook is one of the old soldiers. Original, I talking about Kilimanjaro, tough, like they used to make them. Perry Colebrook them is the fellas who trained when we used to make Marines or the nails in a metal bucket with piss and gun oil. That's what they used to look like right there. And as you can see, he has his Caricom medal on there. And if I'm mistaken, I think Perry Colebrook also got the Trinidad medal on there. And here he is again, yet again, deploying as a Force Chief Petty Officer with 38, 37 years.
That's a high rank, right?
Not with the one he wearing on his shoulder was Petty Officer. I just can't find none of him as a Force Chief Petty Officer. Who knows, maybe when the new commander come. New commander, make sure your public relations department take a picture of everybody, all these bunch of new Force Chief, and put them on the Defense Force page. So when people looking for them, we can just click through and go get them.
So who's the new commander? Allegedly.
You want me to allege that already?
Well, I mean,
He is a man that knows how to put up the light. He is the beacon of hope, they tell me. You shall not be lost with him.
so he's the right man for the job.
And he knows that. Listen to what I say. Don't say the things I ain't say.
So he's the right man for the job.
I'm saying he knows how to light the way to get you safely into the harbor.
Dr. Raymond King I don't understand that.
Dr. Raymond King was phenomenal. And Dr. Raymond King has enjoyed my support. If they ain't already TFE contract, if he still has a contract in his hand, Dr. King enjoys my support at 1649, today's date. But the way life works in the Westminster system, spiritual advisor, is upon the death of a monarch, you must immediately pledge your allegiance to the new king.
Okay.
It is instant.
So this Moxie guy, is he from Andrews?
I never said, you hear me say anything about, what did you say? I never said that.
You didn't say Moxie?
Me?
Anyhow, we'll leave that alone.
I say, the new commander knows how to light the way. He's a beacon of hope. And if ever there's darkness, he knows how to get you into safe harbor. That's what I say.
Okay.
I also understand that among the leadership team, there will be some female inclusion. And so who knows, the lone female that is deployed, because she's a big heavy lifter, big time heavy lifter, super duper, absolute amazing soldier, right? When she come back, I hope they bump her off one rank and then make her something like BXO or something so she ain't never got to worry about deploying again. She could be the one writing the list of who all is deployed. Because she done prove she's a big time super duper deployer.
Right. So deployment is voluntary or mandatory?
Well, deployment is as voluntary as they'd like it to be.
Okay.
So they could say, everybody who won't go, raise your hand. Nobody raised their hand. They say, perfect, because we already had a list of people whose hand was raised anyhow. See all the people who raised their hand there?
They got to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, as a matter of fact, when you go to training, you sing cadence, you know, and there's one cadence in there that says, I got a letter in the mail. Say, go to war, go to jail. So you don't have to deploy. You could just also don't like to have this job. And the Commander of the Defense Force reserves the right in the act to simply no longer require your service.
So what if they tell you these are people who had their hand up and the person is a married person? Say, man, listen, I don't want to be away from my family. Then what?
Okay. We can write that down. Bradley say he didn't want to be away from
my
his
wife for
family.
no 3 and 4 months.
Okay, Bradley, now we know exactly what your concern was. We can see you in 4 months.
Wow.
It's the military. I mean, where do we think this is? Kelly's? This is the military. There is a reason why when a man walks in the room, 1,000 men stand up. Because we believe that he has done enough things to command the respect of 1,000 men that are trained to kill.
Okay.
There is a reason why we salute him as he walks past. It is because we believe that this man commands the kind of respect that 1,000 trained killers would answer to his voice. If the commander of the defense force says, stop that car, I don't care if Pookie them, I don't care if they have a bazooka. 1,000 trained men will descend upon Pookie them, and they will stand no chance at getting away. Because he is a commander. Right. And in the words of Clifford Scavala, commanders command. That is what they do. So what you mean Bradley say he ain't going? Well, tell Bradley I say I sending him.
And that's it.
Nail Ben, story end.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the people them in Haiti say Perry Goldberg is the best thing they ever see since we introduced hot cheese on fresh bread, right? They don't know how Perry Goldberg gets so good. Best thing ever. The king, the sun has begun to set on that era. But I think he's had a tremendous time. I saw that they did the first ever church service in Grand Bahama, never done before. And he's had so many firsts, right? Never before has the organization had this level of engagement, involvement, and interaction with the public. He's certainly allowed there to be a very tangible social footprint with the product. People now know the work of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force when, under the tenure of people like Davy Roll, nobody even had an idea what the Defense Force used to do. Ever since Dr. King took the chair, though, he has closed that gap. So much so that I think he used to talk too much to the public at one point. Right?
Okay.
Remember when they used to report when all the boat them get mashed up? I know why we's doing that. But that wasn't operationally sound in my mind. But in an era of transparency and accountability, what I believe the good doctor always wanted the record to reflect was that he was never hiding anything. And that where there were deficiencies, he was prepared to adjust them. And I think that will be how his 10 years marked. And above all else, they must he put up one proclamation on the beach in La Torte, say, don't go Kinga man out there, because the Haitian them can't land. And don't tell me the Haitian them ain't leaving Haiti, because they piling up in Turks Island. You know that?
Yeah. Thousands upon thousands.
So much so that the Haitians risking running towards Cuba. Spiritual advisor, talk to King, don't play. Him and Billy stir up, they must drop a chain fence out there on the Windward Passage. So he's had success.
Well, so why not renew his contract?
Because that is all you can ever expect as a contracted person. When you are a contracted person, the only expectations, plans, or anything you can ever make
is renewal.
Is right to the end date of that contract.
Yeah.
If you are making plans beyond the end date of that contract, you know what you is?
But they do renew contracts, you know.
Contracts can be renewed.
Yeah.
You, as the contracted person, shouldn't be making a single plan for any day beyond the date of that contract.
Because you just don't know.
Because the power doesn't belong to you.
Yes, on the contractor.
And it is on the desire of the contractor and the desire for his direction. So we needed you to take us from this end of the table to that end of the table. You have done that. The Bahamas government thanks you. Thank you very much. Good night. But can you say that it is victimization? You cannot. It is simply an expired contract.
Yeah, okay.
You can't call it any. As a matter of fact, for you to expect that your contract would be renewed, it's actually corruption.
Now, whatever times on the force when contracts were renewed.
Absolutely. Davy Roll them had 10 years and things like that.
Okay.
So Commodores have...
That's another good one too, Davy.
But, depends on who you ask. But engineers typically, that's how I feel about engineers, right? But, well, let's just say this. He was certainly better than some that follow them. Can we get away with that?
Okay.
Okay. So let's just say you have a contract that ends May 1. We might renew your contract, but we might not. And there is no ill will, no...
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might also be the government's trying to renew the force, because let's remember now, Dr. King has almost 40 years, you know. And they might say, we want a guy that just has different view to kind of interimly lead.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to wait on another younger fella to come up, and he just needs 2 years or 3 years, and we don't want Dr. King's policies to be so firm that the new commander cannot take over. But since you all missed the chance to appoint Glenn McPhee and Billy Sturb as number 1 and 2, I say make Julian Smith and Duncan the next commander and deputy after this commander here. Why not? Anyway, we're going to the break. Don't move. Leave it Miller's here. We're on Freedom March. We'll be back. The spiritual advisor is with me. The king is dead. God save the new commander.
Moxie.
We'll be back. Okay, so welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Leland Miller is here. The spiritual advisor is with me. We're on 103.5 FM, The Beat. I feel that that's enough of that. You didn't understand?
But clarify, because people thinking King Charles is dead. You gotta.
If King Charles is dead, that would have been on BBC.
Yeah, and she's not talking about the king.
No, I'm talking about Dr. Raymond King.
And he's not talking about literal death. He's talking about his tenure.
His tenure has come. The sun has set on the tenure of Dr. Raymond King.
Sometimes in life you got to use plain speech, you know, because there's some folks who don't sometimes read between the lines.
Wow.
So
Well, between the lines.
you're speaking in parables.
It's a parable. But Jesus
did
said
that
the
on
reason
the
he spoke in
investigation.
parables is for the people who didn't understand.
He wanted,
plain
right, he wanted
language.
to hide some things from some people just for a short while until this message really gets out.
Was it Paul who said, I will show you a mystery?
Yeah.
We shall not all sleep. We shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. When the trump shall
The
sound,
last trump of God.
and the dead in Christ shall rise, and ye who are alive and remain.
But don't forget, now he says the dead in Christ. So that's a position that you have to be in. Because if you're outside of Christ, you have a problem.
You're just dead.
You have a problem.
All right.
The dead in Christ will rise first.
Yes.
And then after that,
Who are alive and remain.
they'll be caught up.
We shall be caught up, man, I feel like this Sunday morning again, to meet him in the air.
So explain to the folks.
King
when you say
Charles
the king,
ain't
that
there.
it
The
isn't
Pope
King
there.
Charles.
And we wasn't going to let the two of them there the same week. That's too much of things to put on the news. So not King Charles III, not Charles' regiment. The tenure of Dr. Raymond King, according to the fly on the wall in the room with no light bulb, based on the vibrations of the air-conditioned vent, my sources have reported to me so that I may allege to you that that tenure is now facing its sunset.
Okay.
All right? That's
You
plain
understand
enough?
now? Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Let's
So,
do these-
spiritual advisor, as I move throughout the day,
let's do these birthdays.
we doing birthdays?
Yeah.
Oh, is it birthday time already? Okay, let's do some birthdays.
All right. Let's do these quickly. Oops. Sorry. Sorry about that. I lost it.
You lost the birthday
wow,
people?
Wow.
Okay, so let me tell you what I was thinking while you're looking for the birthdays. We should start, spiritual advisor, a campaign employment finance reform bill. That's what we should do. And what I think should happen is we should debate in the House of Assembly that there be a fixed election date. I like May 5th, right? Which is when I think this election will be. So we could fix the date to that. And then we could pass in the Parliament that every 5 years, all persons vying for public office will be allowed $10,000 a month in campaign reform, in campaign finance. That will come from the public purse. Let's just say if you have 200 candidates, right? 200 candidates, you find the white people yet?
Yeah, I found it. Yeah.
200 candidates at $10,000 a month is $2 million a month. If the date is fixed, I don't see the need to call elections earlier than 4 months in advance. So you'd spend $2,000 a month for 4 months, which will be about $2 million a month for 4 months, which is $8 million. But when you consider the fact that it's $8 million that you will only spend once every 5 years, it works out to be about $1.3 million, something to that effect. And that way, everyone that vies for public office don't have to take no money, or don't have to let people walk up and down behind them for free, or don't have to let people build no constituency office for them for free, and don't have to let no people give out bread basket items for free. And then that way, when you become an elected person, you only have to worry about people throwing loners. Because everyone who is a campaign worker would be paid from a fund that is funded by the public purse. And that's how we can get rid of cronyism and nepotism and have more fair adjudication, more fair disbursement, more fair contract issuance. Because now spiritual advisor can't come tell me about how he paint Miss Jenny house out of he pocket, and that's why I win the constituency. He paint one old woman house, and that make me win the whole constituency. But I can't, because there's no way to measure that. Spiritual advisor say he paint the woman house, and that's why I win. I have to believe him. And so now spiritual advisor want me to give him a $1.5 million contract to paint the road, and he don't own a single paintbrush, right? So all I'm saying is, if you do it like this, you could save these fellas, because you could save the win from trying to cajole people like Jomo Campbell them into doing things that the English dictionary would call cronyism and nepotism and all those other isms. Right? So we're going to call it the Campaign Employment Finance Reform Bill. And the government is going to win because the government can give you, watch this, the government can give you $2 million a month, but the government can get that back at a 10% rate of interest because VAT can be attached to that when you spend it. And we can just give it to people who walking and knocking on the door, and your member of parliament will be able to say, I'm going to pay you as a door knocker honor $300 a week. And by the time as you spend that in the food store and the milk and the egg, and you're going to end up paying the government back $330. See how good that works?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to bite this.
Visual thinking. Alexander Thompson. Happy third birthday to Alexander Arlington Mega Thompson. You are our greatest blessing. We love you from your mom, Dr. Cherie Longley Thompson, your dad, Anton Thompson, your papa, Grammy, Graham, Uncle Basil Jr., and Byron, and Auntie Lisi. So happy birthday to Alexander Thompson. Adrian Wild Goose celebrating a birthday. We want to wish Adrian Wild Goose a blessed birthday, and also from his mother, Enid Francis, better known as Super Bless in Freeport. Jennifer Clinton, happy birthday goes out to Jennifer Clinton is coming from the Sandra and family, and may God guide and bless her on this special day. And then we want to send a special shout out to Georgette Gardner. We understand that the Chinese embassy and staff went to her home to congratulate her. So we want to congratulate her as well, Miss Georgia Gardner, on a trip to China and inviting the Chinese embassy staff to her house, coming from her parents Leo and Madeline Gardner. All right.
Was that all the birthdays?
And that's it, yeah.
So, you want to go back to my campaign employment finance reform bill?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how it works. Bradley Rule, because you remember now, we're going to start a politically exposed person tax, right? So Bradley Rule say, Brave them, they ain't making no sense. I think Brave got to go. Bradley Rule go by the parliamentary registrar and register himself as a politically exposed person. That way he could come out here and case out Brave and case out the whole cabinet and say, Wayne's, what's the boy name? Wayne Monroe is a this thing and a that thing, and he could case out all the women them, case out Joe Bad, case everybody out, right? Because he politically exposed now. People could call him names, case out, but I ain't into casing people, wife and children. Only the person who in politics, you could case, right? So Bradley, people could case Bradley out, tell him he short, he had ball. Because he politically exposed now, right? So he pays his tax of $1,200 a year for however long he decides he wants to be a politically exposed person. That way, when he go to the bank and the bank asks him, are you a politically exposed person? He could take yes, because there's actually a way to prove what the hell that even means, right?
Okay.
Now that Bradley is a politically exposed person, that makes him eligible when election time comes to get $10,000 a month for campaigning.
Okay.
So now that he campaigning, he ain't got to worry about taking that money out of his pocket. He could now say, Poogie, you don't kill nobody this weekend. I got something for you to do. Poogie can say, what? Bradley can say, you ever knock on door before? Poogie can say, yeah, that one time when I going to go kill blacks. He can say, not that kind of knocking on the door, boy. Shut up, don't say that. I can put you in charge of knocking on the door. You can be my chief knocker on the door, right? Poogie can say, okay, how much you can pay me? What you can pay him, Bradley? $300. Bradley can say $300. You give Poogie the $300, where you get the money from? From the campaign employment finance reform.
Okay.
So now you got $300 to pay Poogie. Then you can tell Poogie, well, Poogie, you know you one can't go. Poogie can say, so they're trying to tell you, Father, I need you to hire 30 more people to knock on door with me. You say, perfect. So just so you in charge, you make 300. Everybody else, I can pay $267 because that's minimum wage, right? Poogie can tell you yes. Now you got one bunch of people who temporarily employed as campaign workers that come from a source of money that we don't have to guess where it come from, because it come with the public treasury. And we ain't finding money to give you all, because you all done put some of that money in from the politically exposed person tax. Yes?
Okay.
That way, when Bradley win, Bradley can say, I tell you a long time, Brave them was doing foolishness, and we needed to vote them out. Change ain't coming, change is here. You know all the silly stuff they say, right? Now, when you finally win, you don't have to worry about Pookie coming and say, Daddy-o.
You got some money for me.
Now Pookie them is have the Pookie voice.
Yeah, you got
Daddy-o.
some money, yeah.
what we can do with that little thing? Because they never really tell you what they want. You can say, well, what little thing?
The change.
You know, yeah, you know, he's knocking on door and all kind of wild because they don't have real English. You could say, boy, Boogie, if you don't come from around me and I pay you $300 a week. Yeah, but daddy, I thought once die get power, die was gonna do something for me. And you could say, Boogie, boy, take your $300 and go away from me. And guess what that does? That frees you of any obligation to Pookie.
Yeah.
And it also see, because you always act like only Pookie that must do this. It frees you from the rich white people who don't come with them room and like write check. So when Bob calls and say, hey Bradley, how you doing, man? You know, I see there's a contract out there. You know, I'm into that kind of stuff in my private life. You know, I'm not saying, you know. But, you know, you could tell him, Whitey, leave me alone. Because I didn't need none of your money. I got my money from the Campaign Employment Finance Reform. Yeah. And so now I don't need no money from you. And all this can cost us is $8 million every 5 years. So I fix this quick? I think it could work.
Wow.
You disagree?
Well, I don't know.
What you mean? Okay, when you on the campaign trail, what do
it isn't working in other countries. I don't know why it'll work.
They don't do it in other countries.
No?
No, we could be a trendsetter. No other countries ever done this. Not that I'm aware of. You could ask ChatGPT. I don't know, but no other country does do it. But we could be the trend-setting trailblazers. And we could go on the international stage, you know, minister, and tell them we like the thief. All we do is one bunch of thief, and remember minister telling them that. And Brave could come and say, I figured out a way to stop the Negroes from thieving. They can say, what you mean, Brave? Brave say, I just get them the money, now they ain't got to thief it. Ta-da. And that have to be cheaper than looking for contract to give Bradley. That have to be cheaper than making up wall for Bradley to paint. That have to be cheaper than paying yourself to paint the water tank and things like that. Right?
Corruption.
It ain't corruption, it's culture. And as long as it is the culture, it cannot be corrupt. Because that is the culture. Here is what sociology suggests, right? If you take $1 million, the value of the $1 million is not in the $1 million. The value of the $1 million is where the $1 million ends up.
Okay.
You agree or disagree?
Okay.
If you take $1 million and you give it to a pygmy in the jungle, he's probably going to take this $1 million and light it a fire.
Yeah. So
because his need is heat.
Yeah.
And you could say, but this is a stupid pygmy, eh?
Yeah.
When the pygmy look at you taking all this good paper, which you can make good fire with, and putting it in your pocket, you know how the pygmy feel but you?
Yeah.
Pygmy said it's a stupid man, eh?
You can make great heat from that.
So the culture is what determines what is corrupt and what is not corrupt. And cronyism can't be corrupt because according to what the boy named from Ilutra, all us is cousins, so cronyism don't bother him. But it does bother me. And I try to help people like him not get caught up in giving their daughter contracts and things like that. The best way to do it is to just hire the people that do the work for you. Where do you get that money from? The public treasury. You cannot say that that is any better or worse than hiring 6,000 janitors and 2,500 of them don't come to work. Same thing, same concept. At least now, no one, the politician or the person with executive power, isn't beholden to the people who knock on the door and things like that. So when you say, I knock on door for Bradley. Yes, and you receive a salary as a temporary worker. Bradley can't do nothing for me. All I ask for is $1 million contract. And boy, you have a birth certificate and a health certificate, and the next certificate you could qualify for in life is a death certificate. What $1 million contract you want? That is how we break the back of cronyism.
All right, so you have to now let the PLP understand exactly what you're saying.
PLP! When you go back to the parliament, you'll have to start the, what do they call it, Bradley?
The
Campaign Employment Finance Reform. And you just pay the people to knock on the door every 5 years, But first, you gotta fix the election date so I can stop guessing, although I already know it's May 5th.
They may say that's a waste of money.
How? It could never be a waste of money to inject money into the society. When the Americans needed money in the society, what did Barack Obama do? The auto car bailout.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a waste of money?
Oh, apparently it worked.
According to who you asked. When the pandemic struck, for the first 2 weeks, what the doctor name, Dr. Fauci, had everybody in America home. What Donald Trump do? Just give the people the money. Money, because money ain't real. You know that, right?
Okay.
If you look on your $1 bill, your $1 bill says, payment for amount of any sum. Isn't that what it says? But then there's only $1. It's because that dollar will take on whatever value the federal government decides. How do I know this? Remember when the American government was in debt and they printed a $1 trillion coin? Because the federal government will decide at whatever point necessary what is the value of. That's how you know the money ain't real.
Okay.
So how could this be a waste of money, spiritual advisor? What it is the tool to break the back of cronyism, because cronyism is the culture. And so you can't call it corruption because the culture can't be corrupt. The culture is just the general practice.
Yeah, so you're trying to change that.
If we want to shift the culture, we've got to, is it Ian Pavlov? Ian Pavlov says that animals learn through positive reinforcement or through reward, right? Is that Ian? That's one of them. Is that Ian Pavlov or is that Maslow? I'm not sure. I'll go back and look at it. But when you add the stimulation of reward or positive reinforcement, you change the behavior of animals. That is the only way to shift the culture. And so if we're going to shift the culture, we've got to create policy that stimulates. How do you stimulate? Money. And it's only $8 million. Let's do the maths. You're a mathematician. You've been a
$8 million. $8 million is plenty money, man.
$8 million is no money in government.
I understand that. Yeah.
And we running an $8.6 billion economy. So you got 200, okay, let's just say they run 49 seats, right? The FNM will have 49, the PLP will have 49. That's 198 people, yes? Lincoln Bean, Dr. Minister and the FNAs will run 49. That's 150 people. Michael Pine, them and all the other independents will run. It'll be about another 50 of them. So 200 people, right? The DNA is a fragrance. It's like incense, so you don't have to count them. And the COI will be with Dr. Minnis as the FNA, so all that together, 200 people. And if you say $10,000 a month times 200 people, that's $2 million, correct?
Okay. All right, and then?
And then, because the election date fixed, you don't need to call the election no longer than 4 months in advance. What would you be doing? So you spend $8 million every 5 years.
Okay.
And when you divide 8 million by 5, what do you get? What is it, $1.3 million or something like that?
1.6.
Yeah. It's a perfect idea. So for $1 million a year, we could end corruption. Well, not corruption. We could end cronyism, which is the culture.
Culture.
Yeah?
Well, sell it to your people. Sell it to the PLP.
I ain't got no people. I is a FNA.
Sell it to
I is a FNA spiritual advisor.
Sell it to the PLP.
I is a FNA. Don't tell the PLP I is one of them. PLP, don't listen to this man. Dr. Minnis is a FNA. Lincoln Bean is a FNA. Brian is a light-skinned FNA. I is a FNA. We going to recruit Andre Rollins. It could be one bunch of us FNAs now. You ain't gonna tell me. I ain't like Renwood. Don't bring Renwood. If you'll bring Renwood, I won't come.
Why?
I don't think he's safe.
Why?
I just think he's a little less safe than all the safe people I know. You know how the Bible says?
He leads a pretty good family life,
Okay.
unlike some others.
So that every other man in the Bahamas in the 70s, and some of them had 2 families, that's how good they was at family life.
Yeah, I like Brandon. He's a good family man.
I I don't know. Something about him. Ren would just give me the heebie-jeebies. Sorry. What mama them say? My spirit just don't take that.
Oh, that ain't cool at all.
At least I ain't lying.
Wow.
So I still like to tell the truth. So not Ren, but I want him come. Who else? Who else you think could be a FNA with us?
Crazy Thompson.
Crazy could be a FNA. Iram could be another FNA. We could let Adrian be a FNA, but I don't think it could be for like 6 weeks. We ain't sure about him. He could be kind of an FNA. Who else?
I couldn't tell you.
But you can't run out of FNAs, I can tell you that. We could be everywhere, pile up all over the place. So don't worry about the COI. We give $8 million, $1.6 million a year. We shift the culture. 20 years from the day, people could say, wow, Brave was brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, you want to open the phone lines?
So this $8 million, well, this 1.6 is going to be a part of the budget.
Naturally, where else you want to get money from?
Okay. Sell it to your people, the PLP.
I just tell you as a FNA spiritual advisor, you're not going to call me a PLP anymore. I just told you I identify as an FNA, and that is what I want to be called. I am leader of the FNA. But I don't want to be in the parliament with them. I want that bunch of FNAs to be in there by themselves. So I could be outside here and watch them. And I want all of them to go in there together. But you will not call me a PLB because I am an FNA. Next question.
Well, it seems as if the deputy commissioner may have been in a robbery.
That's the thing next. I won't put that up right now. I already, producer, I tell you no use a spiritual advisor for you because I just tell the producer this is what I'm going to do next. I know how you all let a whole deputy commissioner get robbed. How did that happen? And let me tell you what I'm so saddened by. Madam Commissioner, never let them touch the institution.
Yeah, talk to Pookie then.
Never let them touch the institution.
Pookie them should know who he is, and they still rob him.
I don't care. Here's what I say. First of all, Bank of the Bahamas right here, if you're looking to get robbed, that's the one you go to.
Why you say that?
Because that's the one they've been robbing to for the last 3 years. You don't think the deputy commissioner of police know that?
And they have any cameras up?
They got all kind of camera there.
More likely, yeah.
But them camera don't have no gun attached to them. Right? Madam Commissioner, when they touch your deputy, every drug house in Nassau, every whore house in Nassau, I don't give two flying frisbees if they selling cream illegally.
No stone unturned.
We shake the whole place. Pookie, I don't care if you back 2 weeks on child support. Calaboose, you come go with us.
Well, they probably didn't notice. Well, Pookie them saying they didn't recognize who he was because he
Boy,
had on clothes. Now, if he had on police clothes, they'll recognize him.
Police clothes,
he had on
my
regular
foot.
clothes.
When you touch the institution, see, the institution must remain unshaken, you know. When you touch, Pookie, while you all killing up one another, I wish you all kill, well, I don't know, I wish you all stop the killing. But when you touch the institution, the nation should be aware.
Yeah, they ain't gonna respect.
There should be roadblocks everywhere. We don't care if you sell a seed of marijuana in your life, we coming for you today. I don't care if you mad at your wife. That might be illegal. We coming for you too. When you touch the institution, the nation should know because the earth around it should shake. That is how you protect the institution, spiritual advisor. And if you rob a whole deputy commissioner, say, what could stop you? Chances are they can rob a commissioner next.
Make every moment unforgettable with Shop Smart. From colorful floaties and water guns to life vests that keep fun safe, we've got everything you need to dive into the season. Planning a beach picnic? We've got the cutest sets and coolest bubbles to bring the vibes. And don't forget our trendy swimwear for all ages. Summer starts here, only at Shop Smart. Your Miracle, number 122 Marquis Street.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us through the break. We're here at 103.5 FM The Beat on Freedom March. I'm Levan Miller. I'm with Bradley Rowe, he's a spiritual advisor. Thank you, Tanya. Go and check her out at The Miracle on Marquis. You know how to find that already. And so we're going to go on. Spiritual advisor? You want to get, what do we have, another ad?
I think we have an ad. I think
Do we have the ad? Good.
Yeah, and then after that, the calls, I guess. Are your dogs hungry and tired of low-quality food? Give them the best and modernistic. We carry all the top brands, Taste of the Wild, Diamond Naturals, Victor, Anusha, at the lowest prices in town. If you're on a budget, we've got 50-pound bags starting at just $49. And for limited time, buy any large bag of dog food and get a $10 coupon redeemable on select dog toys and treats. If you can't make it in, shop online at www.modernisticguard.com and we'll deliver right to your door. Your pet deserves quality. Your wallet deserves savings. Shop in-store or shop online today. Hurry. Offer won't last.
Thank you very much, spiritual advisor. And so I go back to my campaign employment finance reform, right? Once every 5 years, $10,000 a month to every person that is registered as a politically exposed person and is contesting in the election, because you have to be registered as politically exposed, right? So let's just say you have 200 people paying, what are we going to charge them? $1,200 a year? You have 200 people. Spiritual advisor, you doing the math for me?
Go ahead.
200, you do this math.
Oh. Now, what are you trying to work on now? Because
I'm trying to work out what would politically exposed persons contribute in tax. So let's just say you have 200 people.
When you say politically exposed person, what do you mean?
So when you decide, my mommy born somebody who's smarter than all the people around. Wow, I'm so smart. You know what I should be? A politician. Yeah, that's what I want to do, right? This is how you get people like Tingham them to stop contesting every single election and doing foolishness. Up and down every election, putting the name on the ballot. They can't convince no one in the house to vote for them, but they got the name on the ballot, right? So when you decide on be a politically exposed person, you go by the parliamentary registrar department. You sign up to be registered as a politically exposed person. You following me?
Okay.
When you do that, they just garnish your wage. So if you just pay an IB, you just pay NIB and an additional $100 a month or $1,200 a year. So let's start doing the math. So you got 200 people times $1,200 a year. How much is that?
200. Let's see. Move the zero, put in the point, then multiply.
He used to be a banker, mind you.
200 times what?
200 times 1,200.
That's $240,000.
$240,000. Now times that by 5 years.
Okay, so 240,000. 240,000 times 5 is 1.2 million.
So you got 1.2 million. So every year, every 5 years, the politically exposed tax should raise us $1.2 million. Right? So technically, it could pay for 1 year of the campaign, 1 month, of the campaign financing. Right? Which is what I think you should give. You know, Jesus said, if you give nothing, you get nothing. That's what he said.
Okay.
Good. So they contribute $1.2 million. That way we could do away with all these people hiding, throwing rock and hiding their hand. They ain't have no political ambition, blah, 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 blah. Then you fix the election date. And you say, here on in, election will be May 5th, correct?
Okay.
Okay. And that way we ain't got to worry about that no more. And then you say, all of the politically exposed persons, election day is May 5th. And then that way, Fred Mitchell could stop doing things like this. Play the clip from Fred Mitchell yesterday. Because I don't know what Fred talking about. Only one man knows the day of the election. Ain't no chairman know that.
Shifting over to politics for a moment, while there have been some speculations that we could see an early election, Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell is encouraging those in the public domain to pump the brakes on those discussions. The position for many is familiar because the former Free National Movement government denied rumors of a snap election up until it was called in September of 2021. But Mitchell says that it is still too early to discuss the party's election plans as their government is focused on ongoing initiatives aimed at improving the lives of Bahamians.
I know people are very excited about the possibility of elections, but there's no election this year, as far as I know, and 10th of October 2026 is the deadline. So between now and then, there's a lot of work that has to be done that we're still doing to, get things in shape in the country. Capital accumulation to do many of the investments, infrastructural investments that have to be done, like the bridges in Andros and the bridge in Eleuthera, the docks in Eleuthera, the docks down in Mycal, all of those things, and completing the work in Cat Island and other islands. So, a lot of work to do before you start talking about who is a candidate and who's not a candidate.
Mitchell also touched on the topic of individuals publicly declaring their political intentions before an official lineup has been released. While not prohibiting such announcements, the chairman says that potential candidates should adhere to respective parties' established protocols.
Well, I think it's a free country, and the Constitution allows whoever wants to run. If you're over 21, if you're a Bahamian and of sound mind and not a bankrupt, yeah, fine, you're qualified to run. And so anybody, let 1,000 persons' voices content. Parties have their particular rules as to how you go about doing things, and people should, certainly in our case, people should follow those rules. But as I said to everybody, that no one is preordained in a seat. Last time I had to contest someone who wanted to get the nomination for Fox Hill. There was a runoff, and I ended up winning the runoff. So all of us are subject to challenges, and I don't think anybody is concerned about being challenged. Most, if not all, MPs intend to offer again, I think, except for a couple who've already publicly announced. So the process goes on.
And I like that Fred could do that. Fred, when they ask you when the election could be, here's the answer. I know, you gotta ask brave, don't ask me. Only one man know the day and the hour when the election cometh. And that's the Prime Minister. Fred, you think people have to contest for the seat? Well, it is a democracy. People are allowed to contest anything they feel like. The one thing I did note was that he did talk about how you could be allowed to run the election. You can't be bankrupt. I think among those rules is you have to be a registered, politically exposed person. Stack put $1.2 million in the Treasury. We ain't got to go look for that. And then I think we ought to amend the campaign finance reform into the campaign, what you call it? The campaign employment finance reform.
Yeah.
And that way we ain't got to worry about the culture of cronyism swallowing up our politics. All right, you ready to open the phone line?
Yeah, let's do that quickly.
Let's open up the phone.
Yeah, 323-7775 is the number to call. 698-0775 and about 698-0776.
Let me say that I also understand I told you I have sources seated deeply. It is a fly on a wall in a room with no light bulb that listens to the vibration of the air-conditioned vents. I'm understanding that a report was made reference to sexual assault in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
I maintain that the lone female that I know that went, she is a big, bad, biggity, BDF
so
Marine.
more than one person tried to hold it down then.
I don't know. But I'm saying if there was in fact a report, then I imagine the wheels of justice will turn.
It has to.
Because that is where all prosecution begins. At the point
it will have to.
Of a report.
Yeah.
And so I look forward to hearing where that ends. And besides, she has some of the best criminal attorneys in this. You know what would have concerned me if Carl Battle was still the Attorney General?
Ouch.
Because he never win one. Never. He owe and however many they throw at him, right? But we have a learned Attorney General. We have one of the best defense counsels in the Minister of National Security. We have one of the best deputy defense counsels in the person of Jomo Campbell. And you know, Jomo is like Omo. For all your tough problems, you call Jomo. Who is man called by the Arawaki spiritual advisor? Go tonight.
So
they
Jomo's-
got camera
so what happened?
everywhere.
Jomo's now
camera.
Superman, eh? Jomo's Superman now, eh?
Jomo is like Omo. He's for all your tough problems.
You got some calls, Aiden. Welcome to Freedom House, caller. You're live.
Hello.
You're live, caller.
Hello.
You on, caller?
Good afternoon, spiritual advisor, Mr. Miller. I'm calling from Roma Street, Vauxhall. I have a problem with Alive. The remote on their system went bad from Thursday. I had called. Nobody came in to bring the new remote. They said it takes about 3 days, and now from Thursday to now, nobody called. Nobody came to replace the remote. I had asked them if I could go and buy a remote. I had called this morning, and they told me that I just have to wait. They go by appointment. But from Thursday, I called.
When you said remote, you're talking about remote that actually would change the cable channel or some of that nature?
Yes, the TV remote.
TV remote.
Yeah, the one that has come with the box. She can't change her channel.
Oh.
Well, that's fine, because you could watch us. You watching us?
I get you on my phone in the kitchen.
But don't worry about that old TV. Just watch
No,
us.
that's
in
a
the-
new TV. My husband's 89. He need to watch some TV.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, tell you what to do. You listening?
I listening.
Bluetooth the TV to the phone. That way he can watch us.
I pay $129, $24 every month. I really need good service.
Let me ask a question. Could you go in and actually do it yourself?
Go in there.
Right-
And they close their
right-
offices.
They did?
I know. Okay, where Cable Farmers located now? They ain't in the mall no more. They in
The mall, I guess. If I go in the mall, I guess I have to take it in the mall.
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah, why don't you do
Where in the
that?
mall is?
No, she said alive, not kill
Oh, alive. Okay.
It's alive.
Yeah, they have an
Yeah,
office
yeah,
in the
yeah.
mall.
Yeah, go
Why
in
don't you
the
just
mall.
take it to the mall? and
I'm
then-
going to take it to the mall, but then you're missing a valuable point.
Yes, ma'am.
That you
You
call
know,
them
if
from
I'm a
Thursday
senior
and no one
citizen,
reached.
my husband's a senior citizen, they should give me the service I'm paying for.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Don't worry, we can case them out at some point for you, okay?
I don't think we can do that, but they used to sponsor us.
You
at
don't have to
one point.
curse them out. Just ask them to bring me the remote, please.
Okay, what
From
you name?
Thursday going?
Tell us what you name.
Pardon me?
What you name?
Madeline Gardner, Roma Street, Vauxhall.
Okay,
Okay.
Madeline.
They heard you.
Good, thank you very much.
I just got a text. They heard you, okay?
You're welcome.
Alive.
Okay.
All right.
If you all know what good for you all, carry Madeline. What Madeline last name is? Gardner. You all carry Madeline Gardner, her remote control on Roma Street. Otherwise, we might have to case you all out. I only ain't casing you all out because Madeline said don't do it, and the spiritual advisor. All right? For God's sake, not for my sake. Carry Madeline, the remote control. Her husband need the remote control, man. All right? Thank you very much. See that, Madeline? We did our part.
They heard you. Okay. Welcome to Freedom House, caller. You're live.
Who else?
Are you there, caller?
Let's take the call.
Go
Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Hey.
Yes, I just want to make a statement. Why the hell don't we now have a set date for elections? That's all.
I can't understand you. Say it one more time.
A set date for elections every 5 years.
What? You don't want that?
That's what I want.
That's the same thing I say.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we could just make a date. I say May 5th, so that way...
Not a date. Not a date. A date. Because a date may fall on a Sunday or Saturday.
Well, we could treat it like how you treat every other date. If the date fall on a Saturday or a Sunday, you have it on the next Monday.
No. Let it be the first Friday or the second Thursday or what? Of a month.
I like that. I like when it float around a little bit. Like I'd like for election to be on a Friday sometime, and then on a Tuesday sometime. So I could, you know...
Okay, well, the first Tuesday or the last Friday of the month.
Okay. I say just make it a date, the 5th of May.
We just walking backwards like Michael Jackson.
Well, brave old. So because brave old, see, the one thing I like about old people is they could throw caution to the wind. They don't have to care. They could be dead soon. So if you don't like them, too bad, right? So he could say, I old. Man, if y'all don't like me after this, who y'all take me for? Ingram, y'all think I can live for 15 years after this? I don't know. So here's what I'm going to do. This the election date, and if you don't like it, too bad, too sad, cryberry, sour lime. Boom. And then we have a fixed election day. That's the one benefit of electing an old man. You know that, right? You gone?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Yeah, that's the one benefit of electing an old man. You know that, right? He can just fix things. He don't have to care no more. What y'all gonna do? Not re-elect me? Tough titty.
Welcome to Freedom March, caller. You're live. Are you there, caller?
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Bradley Roll.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Miller.
He's present.
I want to let you all know I live in Pinewood Garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all this talk y'all talking about Miles LaRoda, he's out of there.
Boy, this is a delay. Your radio have a delay on it, they call out.
If I have what?
Your radio would have a delay on it, eh?
My radio?
Yeah.
I outside.
What you listening to us to what are you listening to us on? Your radio?
On a phone.
The phone must have a delay. Because we ain't talk with Miles for but 2 weeks. You call us 2 weeks after we talk with Miles to talk with Miles.
He was not
okay, and another thing I want to talk about. You all have 2 hours for the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when time to give the callers time, you all still talking and you only interested in the callers.
What
Because
you
you're
mean,
only
I'm
giving the
talking to you
callers you're giving the callers like 15 and 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know, caller, you make a valid point. That was discussed before, and we have to improve on that. I get that.
But I talking to him now.
I can see that deal. No,
I say every time.
we should.
You all do this every day. You all don't give the callers time to call your show.
Yes, we apologize. We
Bradley.
apologize. Yes, sir.
As a man from Rollville.
Okay, me too.
This your cousin? Hey,
Yeah,
And I know, I know Mr. Cran.
You know my father?
He house right by Red Houses in Rollville.
Yes, it's right next door. You're absolutely correct.
And Miss Minnie.
That's my mother.
And I know all apartment needs them. So you're my cousin.
Okay, cuz, yeah. Good to hear
So
from you.
please, spend time with the callers to call. Give them time, man.
Cuz, I can have to do that just for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Now, Bradley, I'm going to tell you something about your cousin. Because your cousin is a not safe man. When we open, Mr. Producer, did we not open up the phone lines at 4:45 last week Thursday? Did we not open it up at about 4:45 or 4:50? This cousin of Bradley only is safe.
Yeah.
But he called in here to kill us today because we come out 10 minutes late. My God, man.
Thank you,
Jesus
guys.
died for Negroes, you know.
We can try and improve on
Oh,
that,
boy.
guys. Welcome to Freedom March, caller. You're live.
I agree that, gentlemen. Give the caller to the hour, 5 o'clock, an hour just for the callers. I love to hear the callers. I love their views, you know. But also, I have 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also getting bad. I want the minister to look into it. I'm also getting bad service with that lady. She's getting bad service with her life. Well, I'm getting bad service BTC and OICA. OICA haven't solved my problem. They haven't returned my call. BTC gave me bad, poor service. They haven't compensated me from last year. So OICA supposed to be the regulator. They are poor regulators. Some of their people need to go. I remember when OICA first started with Johnson, Davis. I think this is Johnson. She was a good director, Mavis Johnson. You know Mavis Johnson, spiritual advisor. And she was a good director. This director under Warren McCartney and Carlton Smith them is poor. It's very poor. And we are getting bad service. So yes, I joined that lady and there's a bad service. And I joined that guy and giving us an hour, Mr. Miller.
Mm-hmm.
An hour.
Now, Punkinita, I can't allow you to talk about my friend Warren McCartney, okay? So you need to retract
Well, he's part of OICA. That's taxpayers. Come on, Peter Weiss.
I cannot allow you to speak about Warren McCartney like that.
That's taxpayers.
Okay?
I'm a taxpayer. He's getting paid by my tax. And he's getting paid to give me service. Who's going to, OICA's for, right? Regulator.
Yeah, we understand that.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Pumpkin.
So I'm not being regulated with BTC. I'm getting poor service. You can't say that.
You want me to take them over to you too?
This is no French, just special advisor. This business.
Okay.
Anyone in particular or just the whole company?
Okay, Punkinita.
All right.
You take care of yourself.
BTC, because you know BTC?
No, we ain't questioning nobody. Welcome to Freedom March, caller. We need these people to sponsor us.
Hey, Brother Roll.
Yes, sir.
Brother Miller.
Hey, big guy.
Listen to me. If the man break into my house and beat up my daddy, who's supposed to protect me?
Well, definitely
If the
not your
man
daddy.
them robbing the deputy commissioner of police, who can stop me from getting robbed now?
I will know the same thing. And like I say to the commissioner, right? I used to work with a fella, he was a lieutenant commander, he was affectionately called MM, right? And MM say, if someone don't stop MMU, the next thing I know, MMU could try to do it to me. So, Madam Commissioner, if they robbing the deputy commissioner, and you don't do nothing but it, you could be next.
But who protected me? They done robbing the man who's supposed to protect me from getting robbed.
And that's why I want the institution to shake the ground. When you touch the institution, caller, the ground around it should shake.
You said something, you said it jokingly, but I take that serious. Every drug host, everything to be shut, I talk about. Lockdown.
Yes, I agree. I agree. The whole island should have inconvenience today. There should be no movement. I don't care if your brother's a criminal. If you look like him, you come go with us till we find him.
Yeah, I can hold you for him.
Yeah, and
now
tell
you
him
know
you
who your
value.
brother is.
Yeah, and you know it is not irregular. When you can't find Pookie, you lock up Pookie Grammy. Everyone coming to get mama. That's what you do.
She know where he is.
Yeah, that's what you do.
But listen to me in closing, Brother Levi. The deputy commissioner that I know, I worked closely with him during the campaign with Dr. Nordich and Dan and Grandstand. He has straight on. You know people with straight on? They can hit you wherever they want you. They can put an apple on top of your head and hit it off without touching your ear. That person who did that must see, I don't know.
They must have got graveyard date in their pocket.
And all of Earl in the yard. There's something here right.
Thank you, Gola.
Yeah.
Let's take some more calls. 323-7775, 698-0775 or 6.
Welcome to Freedom March, caller.
Good day, spiritual advisor. Good day, Mr. Miller.
Yes,
hey.
Sir.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
I want to wish a very special happy birthday to a very special young lady, Rochelle Roll Wallace. I want to wish her a very happy birthday.
Oh, that's my sister.
You said it, spiritual advisor.
Do you know that? Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, today's her birthday. I got some text today reminding us of her birthday today.
That's from Sabrina Hepburn and Stephen Hepburn.
Stephen Hepburn.
All right?
I don't...
You gentlemen take care now and have a good day.
Yes,
Appreciate you, caller.
You too. Take care.
All right.
Let's take some more. We got a couple more minutes. Let's go at it. No more callers? Get in the number, spiritual advisor.
323-7775 is the number to call. 698-0775 and 698-0777.
I want to say one more thing before the calls come through. Ready? Michael Alcides. That picture you all put up there, that ain't the clinic you all building it. You see the picture?
I saw the photo.
You saw it? Yeah. That's a stupid building. Why would you build a single-story, big, stupid building like that?
It ain't him, you know.
Man, when they bring that to you, tear that up. Listen to me. What building next door to it? NIB.
Yeah.
That's a big, stupid two-story building that serves absolutely no purpose, right? Except for one bunch of glass office that make no sense. You know, every time you go to NIB, what the problem is? Parking, spiritual advisor. Could you please build a building that we could either park on the top of or on the bottom of so that at least we could have some parking and don't take up all the space to do nothing but put a clinic here that don't offer no other service? Oh, boy.
Welcome to Freedom March, call you live.
Good afternoon, spiritual advisor, Mr. Miller.
Hey.
I would just like to send a shout out to the Prime Minister.
Okay.
I'm calling on behalf of a stalwart councillor.
Okay.
Of the Garden Hills constituency.
Okay.
The Progressive Liberal Party has done that man so dirty.
Oh, wow.
But let me tell you, the election is coming. And take my oath to the illegal. The innocent will suffer for the guilty.
Oh, hallelujah.
Let me tell you of the constituencies that will be affected on his behalf. He has family in almost everyone. that carries about 7 to 12% in each home. You have Danny Grandstown.
Oh, Lord.
You have Southern Shores.
Oh.
You have Mikhail Barnaby, his area.
Mount Moriah.
You have the Monroe area.
Oh.
Freetown.
Yes. Out east. All of those will be affected.
Wow.
And that stalwart councillor is a resident of the Garden Hills constituency.
Wow.
And he has 6 votes in his home.
Wow. Is there a chance for reconciliation?
Listen, it's been 4 years. I doubt it.
Don't reconcile
He has
now.
he has become a senior citizen, waiting on them.
Oh, boy.
All right, we'll vote for the FNM then.
Or you can vote for the FNA. And make
Thank you
sure
so
that
much.
you're welcome.
Thank
Make
you.
sure us FNAs get to the parliament. Spiritual advisor, that's our time.
Tomorrow, if it's the Lord's will, we'll be back.
Don't be mad at Brave unless you vote for the FNA. We'll see you tomorrow.